Petty sock number 2, part 2.
And now we'll knit 40 rows in pattern. So make sure we're all set right. Nothing's in partial knitting. Nothing is out of alignment. We're in 5 and 5. Knitting on the ribber first because we ended on the main bed. Actually, no, we're going to keep that up. So I'm going to lift the stitches so that I'm guaranteed they knit off, and we're going to knit across. Looks good. Follow suit with these ones so that nobody feels left out. Okay, so we're going to knit 40 rows. Carefully. And we'll come back. All right, 10 more rows. Okay, so here's where we're going to deviate from what it said to do. We are going to lower the ribber again. And we're going to change out our yarn again. This time we're going to use the waste yarn. So we're going to put our working yarn off to the side. We're going to bring in our waste yarn and our K carriage. We are now going to knit many rows in waste yarn. And we're going to remove the main bed onto waste yarn. Excuse me just a second while I make sure those are all down. I'm going to hang on to this. Going to knit across once. And yet again, I did not have my part buttons on. Not a big deal. Taking the part button off. Waste yarn in between the beds. This seems to be a thing with me, forgetting to take off the part buttons. Okay, I have my waste yarn is tangled up in my gate pegs and my brushes on my sinker plate. Okay, it's all freed. Okay, not in part, tension 5, not partial knitting either. Going across, nice and slow. Looks good. Be careful. You don't want to lose any of your stitches on your ribber. If you feel like they are falling, take your claw weight from behind and just weigh them down a little bit. Okay, tension 2. Knit 2 rows. Actually, knit 4. Tension 10. Knit 2. Back to tension 5. Take out the yarn. Cut the yarn. Bring out your latch tool. Now you're going to latch tool off the main bed. So bend it. Deep breath. Bring it forward. I think you get the idea as to how gentle I'm being. We'll come back when this is off and dropped. All right, so now we're going to drop it in between the beds. There's nothing on the machine, so we can bring it right back. Put our tools away. Switch our heads. Bring the yarn back. Put it into the connecting arm. And now lift your ribber. Now you have stitches on your ribber and you have nothing on the main bed. You're now going to transfer for 1 by 1 rib. Carefully. Don't lose your stitches. There's a lot of weight on this right now. You can actually remove some weight because you're not going to need any of it in the next few minutes. So remove the weights and just transfer 1 by 1. If you want to make it easier for yourself, you know which ones you need, you know which ones you don't need, move them back. Okay, just like before, we need to make sure anything that we're not knitting with is back, and anything we are knitting with is forward. Deep breath. We now need to put in our ribber comb. So what I want you guys to do is I want you to remove all the weight from your work that you can. You don't need anything slipping, falling, and causing you heartache. It's okay to leave your claw weights on the bottom rack. That's a little big. You just need your littlest one. We're going to drop it 1 stitch. You don't even have to drop both sides. Coming in. Pulling it across. Close enough. It's not interfering. Okay, 2 small weights. You want to make sure on this side that you don't have that yarn caught. So what you want to do is you want to drop it just a little bit. Pick up that yarn. Okay, now you know for a fact it's not caught on that little end. We're good to go. Pull everything down, reset your row counter. I am only knitting 14 rows. You can knit as many as you want. I am going to lift this end one though. And that one. And these last ones. Oh, our tension should not be at 5-5. We're going to use tension 2. Tension 2. And we're knitting. Ribbing. So nothing is in part. Everything's in N for normal. Double check. Nothing's nothing. Going across. Okay, 14 rows, 2 by 2. 14 rows, tension 2, 1 by 1 ribbon. Okay, that's it. Now I'm going to transfer all my stitches upward, and then I'm going to do a back stitch bind off. You don't need to see me do that again, so we'll come back when it's time to lift the other ribbing. Okay, I wanted to make it easier for you to see me back stitch because I don't think it was really good in the first video. So I'm going into the forward stitch, bending my needle, and coming in from behind the stitch before. So forward and back, forward and back. Do you need to bring your work forward on your ribber? You take a risk of it accidentally coming off the needles if you do. But if you have a hard time holding it forward, then do this. Just be very careful, and if you have a cover, use a cover. Don't have a cover, use a tea towel. Most of us have a tea towel. Oops. Do I need this much leftover yarn? No, but I don't like running out either, if that makes any sense. Okay, and then we go back into the lead one. And there's our sock. First half. Now we're going to hang these other stitches back on the machine, and we're going to knit the ribbing for those. All right, so I'm not going to make the same mistake I made in the first one. So I am pretending that these are on the ribber, and I'm going to hang them all on the main bed. I know that didn't make any sense, but it does to me. Let me find my little thing. Okay, so I'm going to hang them all on the main first, and then I will transfer them. I have the wrong side pointed towards the row counter. Let's try and do this twice as fast. It's not really faster if I keep struggling. All right, so before we continue, we're actually going to remove this waste ring. Now I didn't do my little magic loop like I should have, so I'm just going to cut the pearl bump from below. Now, I should be able to just pull that, and it comes off. Easy peasy lemon squeezy. Okay. Up we go. Now we're going to transfer. One up, one down. Now that I know which one needs to come up, I can prematurely erase them. Now I know which ones are coming. So what you can see here is that my sponge bar is dying. So if you're working along and you see that your number strip is lifting, that means your sponge bar is dying. And you should probably get on ordering one before you can't order one. Okay, last one. Perfect. Perfect. Dropping. Inserting. Sticking in behind. That's about centered. Okay. Pull those down. 2 small barrel weights. looks pretty good. Dropping our yarn down in between the beds. Make sure to hang on to it. We're still in tension 2-2. We are, I guess we're ready to knit. Let's see here. Oh, a couple stitches up there. Look at that mess. Okay, double checking again. Nothing sounds bad. Gonna very carefully come up on this stitching. Okay, you can see where the yarn got caught a little bit. I'm gonna pull it down so we don't lose any stitches. 14 rows. All right. Now we transfer again. And then we backstitch. Okay, they're all transferred. 1, 2, there you go, 2.5 this time. Favorite needle, cover, and backstitch. Remove the additional weights. Move it forward. Move it forward with your finger if you want to. See? Easy peasy lemon squeezy. Except when you don't have enough on your needle. Look at me go. I'm sure you get the idea, so we'll come back when I'm done. Okay, this is the last stitch. I guess I shouldn't have taken it off there. My bad. Okay. Now, you can see that we have a very nice sock. We didn't lose any stitches. And we've ended on opposite sides at the top for seaming. I haven't taken the weights out of the toe yet, but you can see the toe is very beautiful. No stress, no fuss, no muss. And so I will seam this up and then we will come back. Okay, so I got so excited over knitting this sock that I forgot to weave in the end of that first yarn tail. So I'm going to figure it out here. I think I'm going to very nicely wrap it around these ends. Can you even see? You can barely see. Okay. So into the tails of that one. Okay. And now back through. almost to the end, and then stop. Okay, I'll go back through this one again, and all the way to the end. And that should do it. Now we just got to stitch those sides. Okay, so we have sock number 2 and sock number 1. I think we did pretty good. I also see that I forgot to trim that one yarn tail. No big deal. So I think we did pretty good. I like how the ribbing turned out this time. A lot less stress, and we didn't have to do as much work. So 51 minutes to make a sock. I think we did pretty good.
Next week, we're going to turn the penny sock into a sew-as-you-go sock.